What is up, guys? Blair One Gaming here, and today I'm going to be talking more about Michigan football. This came out a couple days ago. Jim Harbaugh's simpler approach could help Michigan football win games. Let's read this. All right. It began with players only meeting after a bowl loss and continued when the head coach decided he needed to simplify things, both off the field and how he talked to his players, how his staff trained them, how they fed them, and how many words they used to call plays. The players wanted to hold each other more accountable. The coach wanted change. Jim Harbaugh returned to his alma mater almost 4 years ago with a whirling mind and an internal hard drive stuffed with complex and complicated ideas from years of NFL experience. Those qualities and strategies worked with a veteran-dominated team his first 2 seasons at Michigan. Last year, not so much. Not with all that youth. Not with too many ideas crammed into too little a space. Oh my. This year, things are different. They had to be, and Harbaugh's players can feel it. And I quote, "The simplicity of the offense has helped a ton," said Ben Breedson, U of M's starting guard who is returning for his 3rd season. "There's not as much going on. Makes it easier for us to play faster." Yet it wasn't just the complex, end quote, that was the end quote. Yet it wasn't just the complex zone blocking run schemes Breedson was speaking about. It's the way the plays are called, the way the team gets into certain formations, the way Harbaugh and his staff are teaching. When Michigan lost to Michigan State last season in Ann Arbor, the Spartans head coach Mark D'Antonio remarked about how many formations his defensive front had to prepare for and lauded his team's effort in keeping up. Sifting through them surely helped Michigan State get that win, but if Michigan State had to study them, so did U of M, and it's not hard to imagine that such complexity got in their way. Rethinking his attack has been part of Harbaugh's mission this offseason, and it continues to show up in camp, say the players. You can hear it in the voices of offensive lineman Breedson and in receivers like Grant Perry, who said the difficulty of last year's approach was overlooked. It wasn't just recasting play calling, sequencing, and blocking strategies that Harbaugh aimed to strip bare and rebuild. He wanted an easier and more open path to his office. He wanted new ideas in the strength and conditioning program. He wanted different ideas about diet. So he brought in new voices, no matter where they were from, like Ed Warner, who did some of his best work at Ohio State. That connection, Perry suggested, was confirmation that Harbaugh wasn't afraid, that he wants to win, and that good ideas can come from anywhere. Football coaches are notoriously stingy with their ideas in public. The game breeds secrecy behind the curtain. However, they are relentlessly searching, the best ones anyway, for new ways to teach, to coach, to lead. Sometimes those ideas come from the competition. Sometimes they come from within, which is why Harbaugh asked a group of his players to start sharing more. Whether it was a personal story they needed to get off their chest, a way a play might work better, or that the team might practice better if they could listen to music while stretching. Suggesting that last one wasn't easy, Perry admitted, and it took a group of players to make the push for the change. But asking for change is getting easier, which in theory should give the players a deeper sense of ownership, a quality that wasn't consistently there a year ago. And while it's Harbaugh's job to instill that, the players understood he couldn't do it by himself, so they met last winter to talk about it. We had to take it upon ourselves, said Devin Bush, the junior linebacker who was recently named a team captain. Bush said the meeting was about accountability and a chance for them to talk about the kind of team they wanted to be moving forward. What was the message? And I quote, "Let's not leave any regrets this year," he said. "Let's not be the team that says we shoulda, coulda, or woulda," end quote. It's a quirk of Harbaugh's personality that he said Monday he didn't think he'd changed, even as his players and actions suggest he has. Maybe internally he hasn't. After all, when he said he hadn't changed, he also said he'd open to new ideas and possibilities. So from his perspective, he's along with he's doing what he's always done. Coach, with the understanding that coaching implies evolving, because it's rare to find a successful team or program or franchise that wins year after year and looks the same doing it. The best example of adaptation might be right across the stadium parking lot, where men's basketball coach John Bellion brought in defensive-minded assistants to improve the tenacity and toughness of his offensive-minded teams. Harbaugh tells us he's always looking at things that can better the individual player or the ball club, and that he uses a simple formula. Does it help us or not? After almost a month of training camp and a long and eventful offseason, we are about to find out. So that's really good. I didn't really know that last year things weren't really necessarily simplified. I kind of figured that it was just because it was a younger team, and that I'm sure that has something to do with it, but like you got to think, if it wasn't so complex, we could have won other games. Because say the Michigan State game, I saw a comment for one of my other videos that I did where somebody said that we had 5 turnovers against Michigan State in the 2017 game. John O'Korn, I think he threw 5 interceptions. Yeah, I think 5. He threw 5 interceptions. So, that made for problem in that game. And if we didn't turn the ball over so many times, we could have won that game. Because I bet if we didn't have as many as we did, we would have definitely won that game. We had 5 turnovers, but only lost by 4 points. And what was it, like a last second? Not really in the last second, but it was 14-10. I want to say was the final score. And yeah, that made for problems. But or is it 14-11, 14-10, something like that. But that's good. They're simplifying it. The players are saying things are easier for them. Things are more simplified. Harbaugh has named named the quarterback earlier than he usually does, and that's going to help the team as well. I think he's making things better for the team. We'll see Michigan Notre Dame play this Saturday. Literally, 2 days from now. I'm not looking forward to it, but it's coming. It's coming. So thank you guys so much for watching this video, and if you enjoyed it and you want to see more, subscribe. I do talk about sports a lot. I do video games as well, but I mainly just talk about Michigan and just like the Big Ten in general. It's mostly Michigan. It's mostly Michigan. So if you want more of it, I've got other videos. I make one video every single day. And thank you guys for watching.